Being on camera, I didn't even
Yeah,
ask
you didn't ask. I am fine with it.
You're gorgeous, darling.
Put on my lipstick.
I did. Okay. So, hi, Elizabeth.
Hi.
Hi. So, going into our activity, you're here to help support Chelsea in learning some skills around her learning objective is guiding a difficult conversation with families. And you're sitting here as the parent, and I'm going to model as the teacher. And the setting is conferences. So we're sitting down, we're meeting about conferences. Okay? So, action. Hi, Elizabeth. How are you today?
I'm good. How are you, LJ?
Good, thank you. I'm so excited to have you here today to talk about Elliot in the classroom. I had this moment of, should I use the real name? But,
yeah.
Okay.
I'm excited, too. I can't wait to hear about everything he's learning and doing, and you guys are so great. So I just can't wait to hear about how things are happening.
Oh, great. I'm so glad because he's so enthusiastic in the classroom. He, loves all his friends. He's always building in the block area. And we have castles going on now, and he just loves pretending that he's Jack and the Beanstalk.
Yeah.
Climbing up and just being like, I'm going to come and get you.
That sounds like Elliot.
Yeah.
He has a lot of energy for that kind of stuff.
Yeah. He's really, really fun. He loves to make his friends laugh. And I've also noticed that he's really been into letters. He's really pointing to letters and recognizing them.
Oh, yeah.
Have you seen that at home at all?
Yeah, we do see that at home. We talk a lot about letters when we're in the car driving, when we're in the grocery store, as we're walking down the hallway, he's recognizing letters that he, sees a lot of times in his name and in this friend's name.
Good. So I'm glad you get to notice that stuff at home.
Yeah, that's fun to see that carry over from home to school.
Yeah, absolutely. And he also, I've noticed, he's really building a lot of great friendships. He really loves to play with Abby, and they like to play house and, pretend it's nap time.
What does he do?
And then she's like, okay, honey, I'm going off to work today. And she gives him a little kiss or goes,
oh my God.
And then goes off to work. And then he's like, okay, dear, I'm going to go to my job now. And then he goes over and starts building and going over to play with the castle and work on the castle and stuff. So it's really cute. His friendships are so important to him.
Well, I'm sorry to interrupt, but does he, when they're playing those kinds of games, because he really likes to be a leader. Mm-hmm. So does he often always have the lead kind of in that play, or is he able to be with his friends and kind of take their advice too?
That's a really good question. So you're wondering about his play skills. How does he, does he come up with, a lot of times Elliot comes up with the idea and then he wants everybody to do it that
his way.
Yeah, that definitely is a strength of his as a leader, but it definitely at times could also make him have a difficult time in following through if it's somebody else's idea. He definitely gets reactive. Mm-hmm. He gets a little upset. So we talked to him about recognizing, oh, look, Abby doesn't want to go to work today. She wants to go plant flowers. Do you still want to go to work or do you want to go do something else different? So really helping him to recognize what's going on and then some options around that. What do you notice at home?
Well, at home it's us. So he, it's pretty simple and easy for him because we're able to just follow his lead, and so he has the lead role in most of the play. Mm-hmm. Because Steve and I follow his whatever he wants to do. We just do that.
Yeah.
It'll be a little bit different once baby gets here.
Mm-hmm. Oh, really good point about the baby coming. Yeah, so I'm glad you brought this up because this, what I want to actually talk to you about today is not only all the wonderful things that Elliot's doing in the classroom, but some ideas that maybe we can work on together to help support him in some other areas. So one thing that we started going into, the challenge that he is having is he does tend to scream in the classroom. He yells really loud, and I noticed this happens when, similar to what you were talking about, if he has a different idea than a friend does, but also just when his friends aren't giving him the attention, he's trying to get that attention. So he'll do the tap tap that we've taught all the kids.
Yeah.
But then if they don't respond to him, then he starts to scream and yell. Oh. And so his voice goes from a 0 to a 10. Really, really fast and he stands up tall and he shakes his hand and he screams really loud. And I don't know if you remember, we've talked about like tiger voices, like our outside voices.
Yeah.
Versus our inside voices. And so like he's like extra tigery.
I see.
Mm-hmm.
That's so interesting because, you know, at home, I mean, even though he is the only child at home right now, and he tries to get our attention, if we're busy, he doesn't really do that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he does the tap tap, and then he kind of waits for us.
Oh, really?
So we're not really, I haven't seen that yet, or even on play dates, really. So why do you think that's happening?
That's a really good question. So what things does he do at home? So you're saying he doesn't scream at home. So what things does he do at home to get your attention?
He does tap tap, which is like such a great tool.
Mm-hmm.
And then, you know, we just say, Elliot will be right with you.
Mm-hmm.
I need you to be patient, or when I'm finished with this, you'll have my attention.
Mm-hmm.
And then he waits. Or he goes and finds, you know, Dad.
Right.
If I'm busy, or he comes and gets me if Steve is busy.
Right. I'm wondering if, well, I think one big obvious difference is there's children at school, and then, you know, there's no children at home besides the child on its way.
Right.
So I'm wondering, like, how that might differ as time moves on.
Yeah. I mean, and any strategies you could,
Mm-hmm.
like, what's working in the classroom when that happens.
Right. Well, that's what we're trying to figure out. So maybe we can talk about some next steps of what we can come up with together. I think it'd be, what do you think about, is it something you'd like to have an observation of or to see some more about it? Because it sounds like it's something that maybe you don't see at home. So
Right.
you're seeing it at school. And we're seeing it at school. So do you want some more information around that?
Yeah,
or?
well, is it with all children? Is it
Mhm.
when he's trying to get his friends' attention, or also
Mhm.
with the adults, like with his teacher's attention? I mean, I
Mhm.
wonder if he's doing the screaming with just his peers, or is he doing it when he wants like Chelsea's attention or Kate's attention?
Right. That's a really good question. And actually, some things that we can do, and we can put as some next steps, is do some observations and collect some information. Myself and my co-teachers, we have done some of that we can show you, where we took some observations of the different times of day it's happening and what we think that his goal is of it. And so that way we can try to figure out what's something new we can teach him. So I'd be happy to share those observations, and we can do some more of
that would be great, and then we can practice it at home.
Yeah. So one thing we've been thinking might be, and I think you, even knowing Elliot really well, stated, is that he might be trying to get their attention. Well, actually, I'm sorry. We define that he's trying to get their attention, but what is the next step for him when that doesn't work?
Right.
So at home, like, what kinds of things does he do if something isn't working for him at home? Like, maybe does he get frustrated when he's trying to do a puzzle and that's not working, or he can't get the door open or something? What strategies work for you guys?
Well, for us, I mean, we're pretty fortunate that one of us seems to be able to be with him and support him a lot.
Mm-hmm.
So he, you know, when he is trying to work through something and it's not really working for him, he'll come to one of us and then we can help him.
Mm-hmm.
Now the reality is going to change a little bit when the baby gets here, and he's going to have to be a little more self-sufficient with certain things, and like our attention might not be able to shift to him as soon as it is now, because we're going to have our hands full.
Yeah.
So if we can come up with ideas, that would be great.
Yeah, I'm glad. I notice that keeps coming up about this. Is right now he gets a lot of one-on-one attention, which obviously is very different than at school with his friends and the teachers and lots of kids and lots of adults. And I'm wondering,
yeah, I don't know how you guys do it.
Magic. So I'm wondering if, while we're thinking about strategies at school that will help teach Elliot to, you know, take the next step when he doesn't get the attention right away, maybe there's some strategies we can come up with in the home to start building in that he's not going to get that quick response right away. To start like kind of building that skill at home a little bit. It's like the opposite of resiliency, but I can't think of the word right now. Do you know what I'm talking about?
The opposite of resiliency.
You know, it's building on,
like his instant gratification, like
yeah, kind of like that. It's like not getting that quick Like quick, oh, I'm going to get it right now.
Yeah,
And
we're
so
pretty
building on that
responsive.
waiting.
We're pretty responsive straight away when something's happening because we can do that.
Because you can. And he's your baby and you love him. And how could you not be? Elliot's so sweet and so funny that you guys just enjoy being with him. But with the baby coming, it'd be so great to work on helping to build this skill now for him so he is successful in the classroom and then helping to transfer it over into the home.
How do the other children respond when he's doing that?
Oh, that's a good question. So sometimes they hold their ears closed. Sometimes they ignore him. But I think also they respond to him sometimes too. And so it's working. So he keeps doing it. But as far as like a skill that we want to teach him as far as how to socially interact with peers, at the park or when the baby brother comes or when mom and dad can't respond right away or when, family visits, giving him a new skill to do it differently will replace that.
That would be great.
Because we don't want to go to kindergarten going, ah!
Yeah, and there are other children in the classroom, and he has to be respectful that the teachers can't be with him or that he can't have everyone's attention all the time.
Right. Don't we always want attention all the time? So can we talk, do you have questions for me?
Is this like a new thing that has just started? Like something's triggered now that the baby's getting closer, or is it developmentally appropriate?
Right. You know what? I think I don't know that answer off the top of my head. I have to think back a little bit and say when it exactly started. So I like to talk with my co-teachers about that. Okay. So we can kind of collectively, because we're with him different times of the day, to think like, when did this start? Because that's a really good question. And we can go back through our notes and see when this did start.
Yeah.
But I often feel like if a behavior happens, a kid has a bad day, and they bite one day or they yell another and they throw something like a one-time thing, then I'm like, I just keep an eye on it. I don't need to make a big deal about it or also consider that it's a challenge. But now that I see it happening over and over again, he's using this behavior as a way to accomplish something. So I just want to help him do it in a different way.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, great. Do you have other questions? Are there ways I can support you in different ways? Sorry.
I think just knowing what you're saying at school so we can say it at home would be an important thing.
Yeah, that consistency of language. That's great because I think working as a team together is really, really important so that there's a bigger effectiveness. Because if we're just working on it at school, or even vice versa, if you guys are ever working on something at home, and there's a language that you're using, always tell us so we can transfer it in the classroom. So then it's generalized and then we're on the same page.
Okay.
Because, I totally want to work with you guys on this.
Yeah, me too.
Because you're my friends.
Yeah, well, and I'm going to have a screaming baby. I don't want a screaming 3-year-old too.
Exactly. Other questions?
No, anything
thoughts?
Just that you guys are doing a great job.
Thank you.
And I appreciate all your hard work.
Thank you.
Elliot loves you all, and
we love him too. He's so fun, and you guys. I feel so lucky to have you as a family, because you guys are involved, and you're always like wanting to check in, and you're always like.
Definitely.
You're like you don't just like drop and run. Like you're obviously really engaged.
It's
so
important to us.
To me.
Yeah, it's important to us because we want Elliot to be successful.
Great.
And just like when things like this come up, please tell us straight away so we can really work together to make sure it's being addressed at home and school.
Perfect. We will. I promise.
Okay, good.
That's great. I'm so glad. So thinking about some next steps that I talked about, maybe getting some observations, and then coming up with a time when we think it started. And then what were you going to ask?
I was just going to ask what you're saying now when he does that.
What we're saying now is like, Ellie, that's really loud. That hurts my ears.
Okay.
So, but we kind of want to take it to the next step now and helping him to do something new when it's happening. So some things we were thinking about doing was coming up with making like a story. So remember Tucker Turtle?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Did you hear about Tucker Turtle?
Oh, yeah. He talks about Tucker at home.
Oh, great. Does he do it?
Sometimes.
Yeah.
Sometimes. It's almost like Tucker is a friend.
Okay. Okay. Well, I'm glad there's a relationship with Tucker.
Yeah.
And then you get to hear about it. And this is a great example of like teaming together. So it's like that common language you're talking about. So now that's something that's in your home, that's also in the classroom. So we're going to make a storybook about Tucker Turtle and how when he does tap tap and it doesn't work, like what else can he do? So some things we were thinking about was to try to get eye contact with a friend, or to wait, and count to 10.
Waiting is hard.
Mm-hmm, it's so hard. Yeah.
Waiting's hard. He's so fast. He just wants to go.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
He just wants to go.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how to stop fast.
That's why we tuck.
Yeah.
We tuck in and take a couple breaths to slow down. But it's great that, you're recognizing that waiting, so maybe you're not seeing the screaming at home, but that waiting piece is kind of like the same thing that he's having a hard time in the classroom.
Yeah.
But the waiting in the classroom is then he screams. Mm-hmm. So at home, maybe he can't wait, so maybe he just goes and does something else.
Right.
So with the baby coming, having to teach him that waiting would be really important. So make sure the screensaver doesn't kick in. So teaching him that skill. So using the storybook so that all the kids are learning about it. What happens when tap tap doesn't work? We can wait. We can try making eye contact with our friend, or we can go ask a teacher for help.
Yeah, definitely at home, if he just asks for help, one of us responds.
Right.
It doesn't take much work.
Right.
To get help if he needs help.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of just like shouting out and expecting someone to answer.
Right.
Or expecting someone to be right there to help.
Right. Lucky guy.
Yeah. I know. When did my assistant go away?
Exactly. So now you and Steve maybe start thinking about, okay, how can we build in a little wait time for him?
Okay.
Something to do at home while we're working on it at school. And then if you want, after we introduce the storybook, we can give you a copy. Would you like a copy of that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll write that down in my notes. And then it'll be interesting to share those observations with you guys and send you home with the storybook. And then I would love to meet up again, so we can talk about what changes we're seeing in the classroom. What things are you guys noticing at home, or if there's things that you're doing at home that might be helping to influence his behavior in the classroom. So what about in 2 weeks?
Yeah, that works. Do you want me to start talking to him before coming into school, when we pull into the parking lot, and be like, Elliot, use your words, get a teacher's help. Would that be helpful?
I think reading the storybook in a more casual, fun way versus the before you go inside, the drilling feeling, because I feel thinking about that nurturing, supportive, which you guys naturally are, versus that elementary school teacher before you go inside, drill sergeant feeling.
Yeah, I just want him to be a good boy.
And he is such a good boy, and he is so fun, and he makes us smile every day. I just want to help him even be more successful, so giving the skills. So I don't want to feel like we have to drill him or make him feel like he's doing something terribly wrong, just teaching him new skills.
Okay.
So in a soft way.
Okay.
Does that?
Yeah.
So I think a lot of it's always about how we deliver it, to them. If it's in a soft, fun way, we read a story, or we talk about it on the way to school, or, bring our friends and ideas into the conversation versus let's go through our checklist. Right. We're going to do this today, and we're going to do that today.
Okay.
Because then it makes them feel on the spot.
Okay.
Versus just naturally learning it.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, and he's so playful. That would work.
Yeah. It's that guidance feeling versus, I always think we're guiding our kiddos instead of disciplining them. You have to do this, you have to do that.
Okay.
Do you feel a difference?
Yeah.
Cool. So 2 weeks from now feels good. And then is there, along the way, we can always check in and talk, and I'm always available by email. And I see you guys at pick up and drop off on alternate days.
Yeah, and just email us, if there's a strategy that's working super great, let us know. We'll try it at home.
Okay, great. And then if there's something you guys think about at home, or we talk to Steve tonight about our conversation, you know, like see, oh wait, maybe he does yell when the, I don't know, dog takes his food.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, and it'll be good practice for Steve and I to not like jump at Elliot's every request.
Mm-hmm.
To really kind of practice wait time.
Great. We all need to practice wait time.
Yeah.
Especially me. All right. Thank you so much for your
welcome.
time. And
you for everything.
I look forward to seeing where things go from here.
Yeah.
It's so nice to can tell we're working together. So thanks for that.
Thank you.
Okay.